Do you find that like because you're playing chess, which is a very mental game,
Mhm.
right? Do you find creativity is the same thing when you're building a movie or whether you're just creating a script? Like, is it just a mind game at that point?
You know what? It's funny. It's funny you're asking that because we actually just we went to see Michael yesterday, and there was a scene in there where I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's a scene in there where he's trying to figure out um, one of the songs. I think it was like Billie Jean's. He's like humming
Mm,
to himself and he's really trying to figure out. And I'm like, oh man, I love finding the thing
yeah.
and seeing, okay, something's missing here. Taking that time, kind of like chess almost, like something's missing here.
Mm-hmm.
What's okay? Maybe I'll add the jacket. Maybe I'll take the jacket off. This is, the scene in Michael. But yeah, I enjoy that process of bouncing ideas back and forth, challenging each other.
Mm-hmm.
Having that space to be like, okay, this is not quite it, but I like where your thought is.
Mhm.
Let's keep building on it. Let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy it.
And it's always like, moves and counter moves. And so to relate it to like, when you're playing chess, you're trying to build something, you're trying to set things up, pieces up so that you can strategically, get in a good position. And I think that when we're creating, it's almost the same thing, like especially when you're building a script, just to have, you're not just randomly putting out ideas or things into a story, but you're doing things that make sense with the story and connect. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
this thing will connect, and we can't, like when we are talking about it, we're like, oh,
Mhm.
another idea might come out, and be put on the table, and then we're like, oh, but if we add that, then it will ruin this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if we take this out, we can't take this out because then it will cause a ripple effect of the things that we've set up for X, Y, and Z.
That totally makes sense because I mean, directing is basically about how much do we leave on the floor,
Right.
yeah.
right?
100%.
Yeah.
I also think that just and like creativity in communication is hard as humans. Communicating creativity is like something I don't know if it's like really talked about
Mhm.
how hard that is and how patient you have to be with each other and understanding like what exactly are you trying to do here? And I'm like, maybe I'm not meeting you, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing to really like hit. And the relationship and having that space really helps, I think.
Yeah, because it's just like when you're creating something, obviously you're using your imagination, and it's just like everybody thinks differently.
Yeah.
So it's just like for you to be able to properly articulate your vision, and you could probably do it at 100%. But is the person that I'm saying it to gonna receive it the exact same way that I'm saying it or that I'm seeing it in my head? You know what I mean? So it always makes it very interesting. And then, collaboration always, you build on it.
Yeah, because I know that as myself and my team work together.
Mhm.
Like the ideas that I'm throwing out there are starting to get a little clearer to them each time.
Wow.
Like, and I'll be like throwing like crazy ideas out there. They'll be like, they'll look at me like I'm nuts. They'll be
Yeah.
like, what are you
Right, of course.
talking about? Like this, I have no idea how to do this.
Yeah,
I
right?
know that
yeah.
all too well.
Yeah, yeah. It's tough though, right? So like,
Yeah.
and it's very discouraging as a creative because you're like, it's just this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you can't explain it well. So like the communication barrier, basically.
Yeah.
And I think like that's where creativity comes in, where it's like you start to like stack these,
Yeah.
relationships with all these different ideas, and eventually you just get into a groove where you're able to kind
Yeah.
of communicate to each other.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I think that's why art is important in
Mhm.
many ways because it's transcendent in the way that it can communicate those things that sometimes we can't do in our real life. Like it's and then to be able to do that in that process of just collaboration is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
And it's cool because you're also expressing yourself, but it's like you're doing like a one thing, right? Like, so like a movie or whatever. And as an artist, you're expressing whatever is inside of you for this one vision, but like everybody else is also having some sort of self-expression as well within that vision, which
Yeah.
is very interesting.
I've never actually really even considered that. which is kind of interesting because I've always seen it as like they're trying to add on to the vision,
Mm-hmm.
but really everyone has their own vision of the movie
Right.
until it comes out, and then
Yeah.
the editor's vision is like, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so you might have a vision, and you might have a vition, and by the end of the movie, you guys are like, oh, that's where it's going.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
movie gets built 3 times, right? Like is usually what they say. It's
Yeah.
like on paper, in production, and then in post,
in
right?
post, yeah.
During,
Mhm.
during editing.
Yeah.
And that's where you can find some gold. And sometimes you're just like, oh, do you have this? It's like, oh no, what if we have a shot? We should add this in. And it's like, yeah, it just doesn't exist. So now you have to like you have to try and work around that. The amount of times that I heard our editor Maria for our film Welcome, she'd be like, it would be because she was on set with us, which is really cool to have
That's amazing, isn't
our
it?
editor on set. So she already knew everything that we had. And it's just like, oh, it would have been so nice if we had this shot because then we could have whatever. But she's just like, it doesn't exist. It
Yep.
just doesn't.
And I love the fact that they're able to go very quickly to that too,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a
Mhm.
really. I don't understand how productions do it without having at least some kind of editor involved in the process too, because
Yeah.
it just makes it so much easier,
Oh,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
the number of times I've sat there and thought, okay, that's a wrap, and then they're like, actually, can we just get these 2 shots?
Yeah.
You're
Right.
right.
And I'm just like, I'm not an editor. I'll be the first to say it, and my team will also tell you that quite, loudly. But like,
Yeah.
but they're teaching me how to edit as I'm like, producing content or producing whatever we're working on.
Mhm.
And it's just like, oh, that makes sense because in order to get to there, we need these steps.
Right.
So having someone who's able to see those steps for you, because you sometimes, as if you're directing or if you're kind of creating a creative concept, you're on to that next layer already.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, then we arc here and it's beautiful. I do this. And it's like, no, you need these 5 steps
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get to there.
So
or
you
it's
gotta-
just disjointed.
You got to backtrack a couple steps in order to get there.
Yeah.
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 That's beautiful, man.
Because it's just, as you start building out a creative concept, especially with a group of people, you're forced to kind of make some concessions as far as creativity goes. Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have made a film recently and it's stunning to see it. Because I'm sitting there going like, there's so much love that goes into a film like this.
Yeah.
Right. And on top of that, you've got like these layers, right? So like you've got, like, I know one of you guys loved like your classic thrillers. Am I right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like,
It was me.
yeah,
That's him. That's
it.
him.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the great thriller moment. It's like, oh no, it's going sideways so fast, and you could almost feel like the thing sliding, right? It's like, oh, that's that's magic when you can see it and you know what's going on, and it's like it's a very like the story you guys told was really cool to see it come together.
Wow. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just using that genre that was one thing. So growing up, it wasn't the first movie I watched, but it was definitely the one that had the impact on me, which was Scream, 1996. And I watched it when I was 7 years old. So I was really
Yeah,
young.
you
So
were young.
I had no business watching that movie at that age, but it definitely, I think it changed my life, of course, because, I was so drawn to it. And it was funny because there's like family members, older family. It was my older sister that showed me the movie. But older family members, aside from like my mom and dad, but like my aunts, uncles, and grandmothers will be like, "Is he okay? Like,
Mhm.
you sure? Like, you should check in."
Yeah, check in.
But
on
it wasn't about anything psychotic. It was more of the
Yeah.
love of the craft and what
Yeah.
they were able to do. I think that's what it was, and that they and my parents nurtured that. But and then that kind of got me involved in when it came to like storytelling first. And then funny enough, when I met him, he's not really into those type of movies.
I'm not really a thriller guy, but I've come a long way.
like where are you at? Where's your genre? Like,
I like more melancholy, past lives, after sun. Just more grounded. More grounded, realistic,
Yeah.
hyper realistic films.
yeah.
But I think in meeting Jevon and seeing how passionate he was about thrillers, I was forced.
It's funny because even my team will probably say, like how many times did they have to sit down, watch a marathon of like Scream or something like that. But it's not that. It wasn't the movie. It was the movie that definitely, or the genre that got me into filmmaking, but it never kept me. right? Like
Yeah.
more the ones that kept me were like the dramas and the things that he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, and because I watched
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Miss Doubtfire is actually my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't do comedies,
Because
right?
I'm
But it
like,
was
that's
the heart,
yeah,
right? Like, and I haven't done a comedy yet,
yeah.
but it's the heart of the film, and I think that's what I get drawn to in anything.
Mhm.
Could be Toy Story.
What draws you to that story?
It was the
Because it's a
family
little different
aspect. than Scream.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's my favorite movie. So with Mrs. Doubtfire, it was the heart that was in it. It was how far this one man would go to see his kids, to be with his kids. You know, he changed life, dressed up as a woman, did all these things, lied on behalf of everything, even in the eyes of the court.
Yeah.
And just as he was obsessed with his kids, which in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. And all he wanted to do was be with his kids. And he was talking about, I can't live, I can't breathe without my kids. I need them here. And so he did the extreme, and he was able to be with them. And it taught me so much about family, about how far someone would go. And then even on the flip side of that we shouldn't be, holding, it's like I don't want to speak too much on it, but it's just like with his ex-wife's character, where she had to kind of come around and see the value in having him around as a father, even though what they were going through had nothing to do with the kids. You know what I mean? And then how the courts handled it, like they didn't see it as the love for the kids, but they saw it as this person. He was an actor in the film too, right?
Yeah.
So he was just like, I just see it as a good performance as from a very talented actor. And he couldn't get to see his kids after that. And it was really like gut wrenching. As a kid, I'm a kid and I'm watching this. I'm like, damn, I'm like, you would think it's some laughs and stuff like that, but it's really real hard. So.
You could so easily change that movie into a darker movie. Now you've maybe even considered that. Like you could rewrite the entire thing. It could be a lot darker because it really is. It's a pretty hard topic. Like you're talking about, basically, you're talking about a villain becoming a hero and a hero becoming a villain in so many ways too, right?
Yeah, wow.
Which
it's
that's
like
like
a good perspective.
Yeah. It's honestly, I never even thought of that in that film.
It's a tough. I mean, and it presents itself as a comedy, and that's what I love. It's like it presents itself as this comedic film, but it's so much deeper than that. So that's like.
And Robin did
Robin killed.
Yeah, I mean,
rest in peace.
Robin Williams. Great movie. So those are it's funny because those are my two like favorite movies. But I'm like I need something when I do mine. It's about the thrill and excitement, which both of those movies are. You got the comedy and you got the killing aspect and the scream. But then it's the heart, it's the story, and it's the characters, and that's where I connect.
Yeah,
and then so it's just marrying those genres together to create something of substance and not just things for cheap thrills and jump scares.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like that was one of, besides our working relationship, that was one of the reasons why I decided to even do it. Cause I was like, oh, there's a voice here that feels different. And it feels bold. And I was like, okay, I would want to tell this even if he wasn't my friend and we weren't in a working relationship. So I think the nuance in having the classic thrill, hello, who's there moment. There was very nuanced, grounded, realistic topics that we were discussing, which is I appreciate it. So thank you.
No problem. Like it's one of those things where it's just like you present. So we're like, okay, we're gonna do this movie, and it's funny because when we were doing Welcome actually, the seed of it came from a movie called Malcolm and Marie.
Okay.
Which has nothing to do with thrill or anything. It's just
came out in 2020, black and white film.
Black and white
John
film.
David, Zendaya.
Yeah, John David, Zendaya during the pandemic, and it's just a two-hander. They're just going back and forth. It's just drama.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with thrills or anything like that. And we were watching it, and it's like, oh, we should kind of think of something similar, whatever. And so it got birthed from that, but then it created and it became something else. And it was one of those things where it's just like, you can still have those. It presents itself as like when you watch the trailers and all that stuff, it presents itself as this like, oh, it's a thriller movie that's fun, popcorn movie, but when you actually sit down and watch it, it's just like, oh, they're talking about some heavy topics in here. So, okay, whose side am I really on?
Well, and it starts to make you question everything about it, right? Because like anytime that you made a beautiful world that they live in there, first off, right? Because like you really, by containing them in that one place, it was kind of like pressurizing it all, which I love that. It was like sitting there, I was like, damn, they're not getting out of here until they get this resolved.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love films that do that. We were talking about this film called It Ends that we watched.
Okay.
And it takes place in a car for a majority of the film. It's not a spoiler, but it's like, I love when the setting of the film is actually helping the themes and also just the storytelling. And I think when you do that as a filmmaker, it starts to transcend, and then for me, at least, in a poetic way. Yeah.
One underrated and kind of like, it's a big box film, but it's still not like a really big box film, would be Phone Booth.
I haven't watched Phone Booth with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And they do the same things. They lock him into this one location, which is the phone booth, and it's everything that happens around it, and it's phenomenal. But the way that they do it is like, I remember watching it and going, well, they're going to move out of the phone booth eventually, and then the action begins. And it's like, but then it's like, dang, like this is they're
staying here.
The commitment to it, first off, like that's crazy to me.
Right.
Like they commit and they just put you in this, and it feels so uncomfortable, and that's the whole movie. And like any movie that really forces you to a specific feeling is an instant win. Right? Because it's like, now you're just like in there. You can't get out there until the resolution.
Of course,
happens,
yeah. I gotta tap into that.
Colin
Farrell, man, he's so good.
Yeah, I've seen it once, and I remember that was like actually the first movie that I seen like that.
Really?
Where it's just like they're stuck here.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I'd seen up to that point.
Yeah,
I've seen it done since, but not to that level. Like, it was like it was a shocker to me.
I think Ryan Reynolds has one when he's in a coffin.
Oh yes, I did watch that.
That might have come out later.
I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
When you guys were building the world that is Welcome, how did you get started with that? Like, did you have the characters in mind and then you built the worlds around them? Or did you have you had the arc already planned, you knew what was going to go on? Or was this really a collaborative process that kind of revealed the story?
I think, when we watched the movie Malcolm and Marie, it was kind of like, we should, because we were looking for something else to do, because we had done To Kill a Secret and we had done A Gift, and we're like, we need to do something else. And so we were watching, we always watch movies for inspiration and just things just bounce off ideas. And then it was kind of like, we should kind of do something like this. And now I think when it was mentioned, it wasn't like, let's do a thriller. It just ended up becoming that. But it was, building the world was more of, I've always wanted to tell a home invasion-esque type movie or whatever between a couple. There were more characters in it. I think there was 2 more characters in the original concept. But I'm like, let me like narrow this. Let me like hone in and make it more personal, right? To these individuals. And that came from me trying to find a concept or motive that wasn't just something that we've seen in terms of obsession or a typical revenge plot, like, you cheated on me or whatever, right? It was like, I wanted something where it's just like the so-called villain is like there's substance there. They're not just a mustache twirling villain. There's a reason for whatever, whether right or wrong in his mind. I think the scariest people are the scariest villains are the ones who think that they're doing the right thing.
The scariest people too. If you think you're doing the right thing, and you're
So it's like that's how we kind of like you build the world kind of around that. And then it was just like a nice little, and then you add the aspects. There's just so many aspects that I wanted to, get across. Like, these guys are the 2 guys. They're very similar, right? One is one way. And our villain of the movie used to be our hero of the movie.
Yeah, it was just like that.
That circle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then it's just like
Moment, yeah.
ended up turning into this villain. But now this thing is happening to our hero male
Yeah.
that could eventually turn him into,
Yeah.
you know, what our villain is. You know what I mean? It's just like this whole
It's a
thing.
roller coaster, man.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know what to expect. Like that was the nice part about it, was like, because like you definitely knew where to throw in like those kind of classics,
Mhm.
but then at the same time you put such a twist on it that it felt fresh.
Cool.
Oh,
You know,
Thank you, man.
And you guys did great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really
Yeah.
tried there. Because you don't want to be too cliche, right? Audiences are savvy to the rules of the
Yeah.
genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, because you can lean on the nostalgia too, right? Like
Yeah.
the nostalgia of those movies.
right.
Because I've been like going back through movies with my kids,
Mhm.
and some movies just don't last. Like they don't
Yes.
live up to the current standard of like how people think.
Mm.
Right? And so it's hard, like going watching them and then them sitting there laughing at it, and I'm just like, well, that used to be really cool,
Right,
and
right,
now it's
right.
changed.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like getting an appreciation for like this is where it comes from. And I
Right.
know
That's
you've seen
so
this
true.
since, right? Yeah.
That's the thing with
That's
films
so
too. Like there's a different experience when you watch something when you're 10
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, when I was 10, this was like
Fire.
fire.
There's
Like
fire.
there was like no doubt about it.
Now you're
Now
showing
it's like,
it to someone and you're like,
They're like,
"Mm,
yeah.
I remember it being.
But it's always that moment when you're showing a video to somebody
Yeah.
and be like, yo, this is so good. But then you're watching it beside them and it's like, it's
Yeah.
not hitting quite the same.
It's not.
do you ever like sit there and do you start to go like, well, has this not aged well, or have I just changed?
Right.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Oh wow.
Right?
That's actually a good psychological.
Yeah.
yeah, it's because
No,
I'll do that
that's
sometimes.
true.
I'll sit there and be like, well, how did I change on this?
Yes.
Like because this
Yeah.
used to be really cool.
1000%.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
a good point. That's actually a good point. Like, are we too serious now? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
I feel like it's
you know,
more of that. I
yeah.
feel like I feel like the individual has
Yeah.
probably their perspective, life.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, this is not
But
the
then
same.
there's things that just you can't even deny, like Home Alone,
Lion King.
Lion
Lion
King,
King.
like
Yeah.
those things. You
Those
know, like-
universal truths, right?
Yeah.
yeah. You can't deny those.
A lot of films in the 90s were like just there
They're
was yeah,
Brutal, man.
yeah. They went to
Mhm.
like
I'm an '80s kid.
yeah.
Right? It's just
yeah.
like I grew up with all those.
No,
movies.
actually I was gonna say the 90s is pretty good though.
Really?
Right? Isn't there the whole thing where like
No, brutal in the sense of like they were throwing some topics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
okay,
legit.
okay.
Like
I see what
Land
you're saying.
Before Time.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
which film was that?
Land Before Time is
It's
like
the
this dinosaur
dinosaurs,
cartoon.
I haven't heard.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they weren't messing around.
I love the
Okay.
fact there's very few people I know that would reference that movie like that, because there's a series now, right? But I
Yeah.
love
Right.
that, right? It's just,
yeah,
it's
like
so
when
good.
like Littlefoot's mom.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
'Cause,
Or
okay,
Bambi.
dude.
Even like it's
What-
like Bambi.
What was so I'm curious.
Have you
now.
seen Avatar?
Yes.
It's Avatar. Like,
Okay.
go and watch Avatar now with Land Before Time in mind. You'll be like,
Interesting.
that's basically the same story.
The same
Oh,
story.
wow.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even take that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's like the whole, like 100% of it. Because I'm sitting there watching, going, that's the Land Before Time. Like that's
Oh,
literally the plot of Land Before Time.
I seen somebody, and I don't know, it was a quick video, but they're explaining how Finding Nemo, or one battle after another, is just Finding Nemo.
Oh,
A little
wow.
bit. And I was
That's
like,
amazing.
I was like,
That's
oh,
such a
okay.
great similar.
Yeah, because the daughter, and okay. Yeah,
That's a
can
movie
kinda
I
see
really
that.
want to watch. So dang it, I'm going to be watching, going, that's Nemo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Always
kinda
those
cool.
universal truths, right?
Yeah.
References.
So how old were you when you got into acting?
I started acting 2017. Oh, that was like 24. Yeah, my email actually says because that's
You just
all.
gave out your whole email to everybody so they can all
Oh,
email you.
snap. I'm not famous. I'm
What
not
does it
famous.
beep it
Wait,
at?
I didn't say at what.
Mhm.
Ah,
There's only a few of them. There's only a few of them.
All right, tried all of them.
Yeah.
Tried all of them.
It's private render.
Yeah, exactly. The
So
inbox
I-
is going to be full tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, come on, pitch. Yeah. So I was 24. Man, I actually love telling this story. I went to school for hotel management in 2016, and coming out of high school, I didn't know what to do, and you're just asking friends. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? What's going on? Somebody goes like, I'm doing hotel management. I want to travel the world. Free, hotels. You get to see people. I'm like, okay, cool. Like cruises. I'm like, all right,
I'm gonna do that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I do that for 2 years. I go to George Brown, and then I had a speaking with confidence teacher in my last year, and I had to do this this presentation, which I just made up on the spot, which was just tell a 2-minute story. And the one that I came up with was that I was having trouble eating on the subway because it was just the particular time that I would get my food. I would have to get on the subway, and then when I get out the subway, I would be at work. So I just had to eat on the subway, but I would get uncomfortable because people were staring at me. I'm like, damn, like this is but I want to eat here. But one day I was just like, you know what? The next person that stares at me, I'm just going to stare back. And I just stare. So I told that story, and I would stare at people at eating my food, and everybody stopped looking at me, and I felt more comfortable. Anyways, he liked it. He's like, he liked that story. So he's like, you should consider it. And so I go to Brazil. I do my internship down there. I come back, start working as a security guard. And I was like, let me do a shot. And actually it was before Eric. Eric it's a mutual friend of ours because I did pressure play with it. But before that, I did another short. I was on Mandy.com, just trying to find work as an actor, just trying to find any possibility to learn the craft.
Yeah.
So I do that short film. I wasn't getting paid. I had worked 12 hours the night before. I was tired, but I just remember not wanting to go home. And that was like,
You're hooked.
yeah, that feeling going home on the bus, and I was like, damn, this is what it feels to do what you love.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just been a journey of trying to get better at the craft, meeting him, seeing somebody who's just as passionate, just as crazy. I was like,
what was cool about that was that his second film was my second film.
Oh, legit.
Yeah, so it was kind of like meeting very early in our careers.
Yeah.
which was really
Yeah,
dope.
the stars kind of aligned for us in that way.
That's really cool. And so the characters that you bring to the table, right, for each and every, how do you craft those to be?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing that fascinates me about actors is they can pretty much like say, okay, that's the character, so I'm going to play him this way.
Right.
And the ones that really know, they're like, I got it. I'm going to be just like this.
Yeah. That's a question that I'm like still discovering for myself as well. But I definitely lean into just coming with my personal experiences and the life that I have, and blending. And I feel like the beauty about reading the script or just telling a story, just in coming as you are, you naturally are going to find those parts in you. Can we swear here?
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. Okay, yeah. I seen this video with Dustin Hoffman, and he's like, oh, I don't want to see you play the bitch. I want to see the bitch in you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, because we all have those moments that we don't show to, like right now we're having a cordial conversation, but we all have those moments we talked about, like being on set where it's like, can we get the fucking thing? All right, just relax. And I think as an actor, you're just trying to find those moments. You're just trying to, because a lot of times in life we suppress those moments because like, hey, we got a thing. And as an actor, you're just trying to remember. It's like, I remember that time where somebody cut me off in line, and and I know what.
Find it. Yeah, it's in you.
That's it. And,
this is the one.
Yeah, through that, the character's gonna come out, and it's gonna be like, oh, I could see the bitch in that person.
That's amazing. So you're basically playing masks. Like you talk about masking in like, in like public and stuff like people being a different way based on the social situation. So,
yes.
Right?
1,000%.
So what you're talking about is like, you've just got a big old repertoire of masks you can pull out and just like, oh, that's how I felt in that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, how much of it is actually premeditated too? Like in that, like,
well, like the authenticity of it comes from the like just remember kind of like Meisner a little bit. You're just remembering the personal experience that you had.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing, you're not necessarily thinking of like, I'm gonna be a bitch. It's you obviously have to still react and be present and listen, and and a scene can be done in so many different ways. But if there's a specificity that we're trying to hit, it's like, okay, you got to go there, and that's when you find whatever you have in your bag of tools. if you can remember, because those things are even from myself. Like I went to the Canadian Film Center, the CFC, and one of the things that I learned there, one of the best experience that I had there, was finding my voice. And I think there's two elements to voice. There's obviously how it resonates, like actually doing breath work every day, but also the how do I say it? Like there's people who are, based on how they were raised, they can actually they don't have a problem saying fuck it all the time. And there's other people who have a harder time saying that.
Yeah.
Based on your personal experiences, how you grew up. And that was one of the things that I found for myself, because I grew up very religious. And you start to notice, oh, okay, like, and my mom, there's a lot of like fear that was instilled for good reasons, right? She's just being a mom, and it was passed down from her generation.
It worked before,
right?
It'll work now,
right?
Yeah.
So, and I think for me, it was unlocking that and discovering that for myself. I'm like, oh, there's stuff that I'm suppressing here that I'm not allowing my full voice to come out, And it's simple things. It's another like something that I try to do as well as like if somebody does something, or it's saying excuse me instead of sorry, right? Saying actually excuse me, sir, can I get through? There's an instinct of going backwards and being like, oh, let me just say sorry. But it's like, no, you could say excuse me. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not being rude. You're just saying excuse. And it's like little things like that you have to like pay attention in your daily life and be like, oh, okay, when am I going back into just these old habits of, oh, I'm scared, but no, let me actually speak.
I love how you're using almost like behavior tools.
Yes.
As an actor. And as a director, you'd be sitting there like, that's perfect, because that's what you need, right? It's like you need someone who's going to think about that emotion, right?
Yeah.
That's why he keeps getting hired.
Well, because it's like,
thank you.
Read the script and then react to the moment, not to the script.
Yeah.
Right? Like that kind of thing. It's like, that's,
Sure.
I love that. Because the more you generate characters in like creatives, the more complex they get. So it becomes a bit of a balancing act of knowing like, okay, do I shift from here at this point to here, or vice versa?
Right. And I think another thing too, and something that I'm trying to get better at as well, is being open to new experiences, living life fully, being present, living deeply. That's one of the things I told myself this year. I want to live deeply.
Yeah.
And that's comes with tough situations and great situations. It's not all, sunshine, but embracing that, like, I want to live deeply. I want to meet people. I want to connect. I want to be here. We're here. We're doing the thing.
That's literally why I started this. I was like, I need to do something that scares me.
Yes.
And like, for me, like sit in front of the camera, like, you love it. Like you love the camera, right?
You're doing great.
And like I've learned to do better. Like I was terrified. Like I'm like, I know the back of the camera, like like that's where I want to be. But then when I started to get in front of the camera, that was like, I was terrified.
Wow.
Right. And then like when I knew we had like, we always do one-on-one conversations. And so then I'm like, how am I supposed to do conversation with two people? So like there's another fear there, but going into those, and more often than not, by the time you get into it, it's not as bad as you have conceived it in your brain to be, right? And you just kind of like sitting there like, okay, I can do this. And now it's just, you just go out there and get it done and enjoy the moment and try to live in the moment. That's a tough one.
That's all. I think one of the things I always try to express too is just like, I'm just like you, as you said, you're very curious, right?
Yeah.
I'm so curious about just people and just everything. And it helps me with when it comes to perspectives. You know what I mean? Like, just to live through whatever. I'm always of this thing of, if someone says, oh, should we go here? It's like, well, what's going to tell the better story? You know what I mean? Like, what is going to tell the better story? So whether it's, if we're staying, yeah, you can have that. I want to live true and deeply as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Stay at home, whatever. But if someone said, you know, do you want to go to go wherever? And I am not tired. There's no reason for me to stay home. I'm
Mhm.
okay with going out. What's going to tell the better story? Let's go out there and experience some of that life
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see what is out there. You never know what you might get inspired by,
Mhm.
no matter driving, walking, or a conversation that passes, whatever it is, you'll get inspired. You know what I mean? And so I agree with Emidio when it comes to just living deeply and just experiencing just
Mm.
life.
Yeah.
Do anything. Do things that you haven't done.
Yeah. That's like the best advice to give to any young creative.
Yeah.
Live life.
Yeah.
Because you can't pull from something you don't have.
Exactly.
Right? So you can't sit there, like the best movies and the emotions they give you, I can almost guarantee you someone who had, you know, control over the script or control over the art direction or all of that has gone through something similar to that or has felt that. And that's why they're able to give it to you in such a raw way.
Yeah.
Like I know like good actors,
Mhm.
like I always say, like good actors make you cry. Because
Mhm.
like they know exactly those points where you're hiding them from everybody. You're like, I'm not going to show these. And they're vulnerable enough to go out and say, look, there's those raw points. That's going to make you like tear up.
No, 1,000%.
So
Takes courage.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you got to draw on something. It's just like with music, right? With music, I used to do music
Yeah.
back in the day. I stopped because I didn't have anything to write about
Mm.
in that way.
Yeah.
And then live a little bit of life and the
Yeah.
creative juices, and you pen it in a different way now.
Yeah. Because you have such a different perspective with time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When you're writing your stories, do you just sit there and have like, do you start with the world? Do you start with the characters? I feel like you're a character driven guy.
I'm a very character driven guy. Like I love perspective. I love your perspective, his perspective, everybody in this room. Because we all think differently, and it's not like nobody's right or wrong. You know what I mean? It's just the way how your experiences kind of shape you. So when I write, I never sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna whatever. I'm always in process of writing. So I'm walking and things are being, I'm writing in my head and stuff like that. So I usually start with a why. Like, why do I want to kind of tell this story? Like, what is the concept of the depth of what I'm trying to reach? And then it will start with, I guess, after that, it will be like, oh, there's the character that might be going through this thing.
Mm.
Okay, who's involved in why he's going through this thing? So it might be a couple, and then it's just like, okay, well, now where are they set? So this might be the world. Sometimes the world, depending on the type of film that I'm writing, it doesn't come on until after. But
Huh.
sometimes the world is it helps. It would help the narrative. Like it kind of all kind of
Leans
gels
into it.
together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's just like if we are telling a story about, I don't know, like if we were telling a story about what happened in New Orleans or whatever, right? Or any kind of thing. It's so specific to that.
Yeah. It's kind of hard
Place,
to
so
do that in
it
like
helps.
New York. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like sometimes it helps, or sometimes you're just putting characters in situations, and then that situation can happen kind of anywhere.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like with Welcome, that can happen
Anywhere.
anywhere.
Anywhere. It could have been there. Yeah.
It just so happened to happen here.
Yeah.
At this time.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of start with I do like a good character. I love a good villain, and I love a good character who's complex.
Yeah.
Right? So even with our character Sasha in Welcome, it's funny because a lot of folks who watch the movie aren't really too fond of her, and she's
Yeah.
supposed to be like our hero,
Heroine, yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the movie. So she's not giving, for my Scream fans, she's not that Sydney Prescott, all good and whole,
Yeah.
right? But she's complex.
Yeah.
Right? And that
like
makes
that.
a person full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're gonna have methods, and it doesn't mean that she's evil by any means. You know what I mean? It depends on who you speak to.
Well, I think you guys said it right. It was like everyone believes that the thing they're doing is right.
Yeah.
That they're
Yeah.
doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so like people do the things that they think are doing right, even though the world may perceive them as bad.
Exactly. Well,
Right?
the tagline of the movie is "We're all villains in someone's story."
Yeah.
So,
Which
it's
is
like-
wicked. Because like
Yeah.
it makes you stop and think, right? Because
Yeah.
even like internally, I'm just like, whose villain am I?
Yeah. What universe?
What universe?
What
Yeah.
universe?
Yeah.
What storyline?
Oh, what storyline are we in here?
Cut off
Yeah.
that one guy one time.
Yeah, that
I
one
just-
time,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't let him.
He's now got that in his acting
Yeah.
career.
Yeah, he's processing.
Like somebody's out to get me.
Yeah, yeah. It's I love, and like I've used the term like woven tapestry of like creatives, especially when you start making movies, and it's like that is so true. Like making a movie, you can't do it by yourself, or you probably can, but it's extraordinarily difficult, and it's probably not going to have the layers that you can achieve while having as many people as you have. Right? Like how do you surround yourselves with creatives that see, that get it?
It like I have been blessed.
Yeah, you came with a full team.
We have
did,
a
yeah.
full team that has been working together for 10 years.
So what's your team number? Like how many?
There is about on paper, it would be about like 10 of us. There would be
That's a clean team. Yeah.
We come equipped with all of the areas, editor, line
Perfect.
producer, cinematographer, key grip, it's a team and that we've built it, and we got an actor, we got we've built this team where when we shot Welcome, actually our core team lived in that house for the duration of the time.
That's amazing.
And because we were all the key creatives in what we did, it was just like there's no reason why we can't get this movie done if we wanted to. Like once the rest of the crew goes home, we have all our head of departments here.
Yeah.
If we wanted to pick up a shot, we can 100% do it. Our lead actor's staying here, the director's staying here, our cinematographer, our cameraman, it's here, right? So we're then, but yeah, it really starts. It's like that's working with the same team for so long, and then obviously allowing, because we're so confident in each other, it allows us to bring in other folks who we can learn from, who have 20 plus years in the game, and people where it's their first day on set. You know what I mean?
It's such a cool business for that.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said before, I come from a background of being a photographer. Like I don't have like set experience as far as like, I was, a PA or something. I didn't do that. I basically one day was like told, put the camera down and now direct. And like, that's kind of how it got started for me. And so I've learned just through pure tenacity on like how film sets work. And, even seeing the scales of it can be daunting to me. Right. Cause like, a 10-man team, I can imagine. I can see how that works. But then you get into like these large sets of like 100 people.
Same.
Like, how do you control that many creatives first off? Because we're a little bit crazy in ourselves, right? And you kind of have all these different ideas, and we want them to be there, and we want to prove that it's the right idea,
Yeah.
right? So, like, is there like I find at 10, you've got enough space for people across the board to put in the decisions and be like, hey, what about doing this? What about this idea?
Well, I was
You know?
actually just telling Jevon like the responsibility, but something that's really cool about being directors is that you get to hire people and give them like a chance to do what they love and put money in their pockets. And obviously you're choosing somebody that you want that's going to fit the best vision that you have and how you want to execute it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a privilege y'all have to to make those decisions. Be like, I want to hire this individual.
Yeah. It's with 10 of us, everybody has a voice, and I've been told I'm collaborative to a fault sometimes, like it can be, but what I do is I always want to stay within my vision, because again, as I said, how we've been talking about it, what we've been talking about is perspective, right? And how other people think. So you might be thinking something that I never thought of, which I would love. I'm like, oh, do that. Like, never be afraid to voice an opinion, because what we like to say, one thing that I always do is we put stuff on trial, right? So even if it's my idea and your idea, whether I can speak against my idea and I can speak for my idea, but what we're going to do is we're going to put everything on the table and see what lands I'll never not say, oh no, your idea is stupid. Like, let's talk about
Let's
this.
really
Let's
talk
think
about it.
Yeah. And let's see why. This is why I think it doesn't work. But why do you think it works?
Yeah.
And then we talk about it, kind of thing. And then we kind of go from there. But it's always because I think we all we're all really good friends too, and we all trust each other. It's like and it's not just about work. It's not just about working on our own projects, but we work on other people's projects. We kind of we split up, like we're like the Avengers in our own solo stuff, and then we come back.
Yeah.
Like we come back to do a thing.
Yeah.
And we gain that experience and that knowledge, and then we also grab other people that we've met in other shows and stuff like that, and come back to form this thing. So everybody kind of we have this responsibility to each other to give the best version of ourselves to whatever it is that we're doing and each other. And that allows us to then, create what we create, and then bring other people, because we're so secure within our team, then we could bring other people on. Like on Welcome, we had, I think it was over 30 people on set every day.
Yeah.
And that's just from relationships and stuff that we've built, and giving people chances. You know what I mean? Oh, you want to do this? Okay, come on board and let's try that. It's also a place to learn as well. You know what I mean? Where you might not get that opportunity to do it on something else.
Yeah. So did it start as a passion project, or was this this is going to be a paid film? This is what we're going to build?
This was actually supposed to be, Welcome was actually supposed to be a short film.
Oh.
Yeah. And
because the runtime is
an hour
and 42. Yeah.
Hour and 42 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a short film. And we always kind of knew we needed to do a feature. But I wrote the script, and I was just like, okay, we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna do another short, and then after this, we'll probably do a feature.
Yeah.
And then when we hired Emmanuel and Shailene, they came after in the process. They kept, I think Emmanuel had first, he was the first person to be like, hey, I think we should make this a feature.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah.
Because what was the length in your brain?
Length?
At the beginning?
The script wasn't that long. It was maybe a 30-page script or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was there was a lot of stuff in that 30 pages. So, but it was already going to be a long short. You know what I mean? So he was just like, we should make it a feature. I was like, I don't know. We don't have the money for it. We don't have the time. We don't have whatever. Kind of made excuses. Then Shailene came on board. And the first thing that she said was, she's just like, I just have one question. I'm like, what? And she's
They probably spoke to each other.
They probably did. They probably did, right? Tell him.
You tell him.
And she was just like, I just have one question. I'm like, what? And she's just like, why isn't this a feature? And I gave the same thing. We just don't have the money. We don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right? And Emmanuel's just like, see, I told you. Then it wasn't until I think we were 3 weeks away from shooting or something like that. Shailene just called me out of nowhere, and she was just like, all right. She's just like, just listen to me. I'm like, okay, what's up? And she's like, I really think this story, it can be a feature. I don't know what else you have to write in it. She's like, I'm not a writer like that, whatever. But she's like, and I'm not trying to get extra screen time.
Yeah.
Right. But she's just like, I really think that there's a feature here.
Yep.
And I said, at that point, for whatever reason, I didn't even.
That conviction, man.
I was just like, all right. I was just like, you know what? I think you're right. Right. I'll call you back or whatever the case is.
And so you're 3 weeks out from filming this?
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
Okay. So how do you shift then? Because that's a huge difference in budget, huge budget in production.
Well, we didn't get any extra funding, and we didn't get any extra days.
So how long were you shooting for?
We shot the movie in 8 days.
Huh?
Yeah. And, or 1 day and 7 nights. And so I just wrote some extra stuff.
Were you writing on set?
No.
Okay.
No. It was done. I was just like, because my team, they
thrown down the train track.
I saw Sean Baker did that for the Florida Project.
Oh yeah, for the Florida Project. We had we knew what we were doing was ambitious.
Yes.
So I had to put the pen and just make things connect and all that kind of stuff. And the team was basically like, you know what, we support this. We can do this. But the way how I write when I have my thing, first of all, I sometimes I barely even tell the team a title. right? They might know a genre or something like that, but I barely tell them the title. But they're always my first audience. So I always keep everything. So I always I never tell them anything about the plot, what's going to happen, or I want to do a movie like this, blah, blah, blah. I just give them a script and then they read it.
Do you give them like a formed script or like a vomit script?
Sorry?
Do you give them like a fully formed, like this is kind of where I want it to be? Or is this like your vomit script? This is like.
Oh, no. I give them the like maybe second or third draft.
Yeah.
Right? And then they read it. And it still needs work, right? But
Yeah.
it's like they read it and that's when they're like, oh, like I get to get the text messages like, oh, what shit, what's happening?
Damn.
Blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, this is working. This might not be working. And then we talk about it after.
Except for Kijak.
Kijai, who's on our team, she just goes straight to the end.
Does she?
Always.
That's
so
wicked.
I was like, I gotta stop giving her the last 15
take the last page out.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing that.
That'd be funny.
But what happened with this one was, and it was her, this is the story I'm talking about her, is that usually I like to like write the script and then give it to them. So when I was writing the new stuff, I wanted to give it to them and be like, okay, read it like it's the first time you're reading it. And they're like, nah. They're like, tell us what you're doing because we have to prep. So I was just like, okay, fine. I'm going to add this. I'm adding that. They're like, oh, cool. Okay,
cool. That
we'll
makes
read it
sense.
after.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because they already knew the story. There's no more surprises or anything like that. So yeah. But that's kind of how that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, how that worked. It was ambitious, you know. A lot of people didn't think that we were gonna make it, but I knew we were because it was a lot to do in 8 days.
There was a night that we were shooting, and it was looking like we were not gonna make the day. And for me, it was my first experiencing that, and obviously being part of the team and wanting us to like really succeed. But like my energy was just going down, and it was late, and I was like, "Damn, but it doesn't look like we're gonna make it." But looking over to him, and he's just trying to get the next shot. He was just like, "I'm just trying to get this shot right here. Forget just about everything that's happening. That we're not gonna make." And seeing that, I was like, "Okay, he's just locked in on this shot, what we can control." And we ended up doing it. We ended up making that, rearranging. So. Yeah, that was a real cool moment to experience that with him.
Yeah. When you first read the script, did you instantly go like, all right, I know exactly the kind of the path line I need to take with this character?
You know, we actually went back and forth. He was thinking that I should play Eric.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
At first.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I always believe that as actors we could do a great version of things. But some people just have this, and I it's hard to say it, but Emmanuel just has this like
that energy.
he just has this vibe to him.
Yeah.
You know, I give a more like warm vibe.
Oh man.
But I can get dark too.
Yeah.
But you see me in class a couple times.
Yeah. He's scared. I went to class with him one time.
Yeah.
Or a couple of times actually, which is how we're able to work so well together because I get to see him in all aspects of his creative, not just on my set, but on other people's sets and in class. You know what I mean? So, but he scared me. I'm one of them.
That was good. Like,
Yeah. So after several discussions, we decided to have Emmanuel play Eric, and I would lean more into Darren. And Darren, there's just a lot of similarities to me. Like, he's a lover. I'm a lover. I'm naive at times. He's a little bit more naive than me. But he looks for the best in people, and I try to have that perspective too.
You definitely see that.
Yeah. So there was already a lot of stuff that was just naturally that I connected with, and some other things where I'm like, okay, I got to learn and see what go on a walk with him, and see how that sinks into the body.
Were you like writing it and seeing his face?
As Eric?
Yeah. Like talking back to you?
No, it's...
Or was this like later on?
Yeah, it was like, I knew he was always going to be in it. Like,
I think you wanted to challenge me, right?
Yeah,
at that time?
What it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to see, because the character that he played in To Kill a Secret was of that naive, character. And he was like in between.
Like a kind soul kind of situation?
Like he was just like stuck between the two best friends who were
he was
at
like
war with
he was more like the playful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I thought Eric was such a, it's a great character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this might be a chance, for him to probably step into something else that could challenge both of us, me directing him in that space and him doing it. But at the same time, I had spoken to Emmanuel before, where we always wanted to work with each other as well. It didn't click that, it should be him for this role.
Interesting, yeah.
But he had also, Emmanuel had also messaged me at one point saying, hey, do you have any films that are in like one location? He wanted to do like a film that was in one location. And I'm like, yeah, I have this one. It's whatever, thing.
But it's a short.
It was a short at the time, right? And he wanted a feature. And it was welcome. But he we brazed over that. Like, it was, but then when we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, you're gonna play Eric.
Yeah.
And then he said, why don't we just get like a manual, right? And I was just like, oh yeah.
That's what came. Yeah, that's what came to my mind. I just seen his energy and just his presence. It was just reading. It just fit.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a do-rag, but I have a scar in my forehead, and he has a scar too. And I remember being on set, and he was like, I wonder if he planned that.
That's too funny.
It's like, because the characters are supposed to be so similar.
Similar, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and there was a lot of similarities with that. But anyways, great. I thought that the cast did an amazing job. Shout outs to Emmanuel for finding Shailene and Brianna. They're fantastic. I could not see the film without them.
Right.
So it was a lot of learning, a lot of fun, a lot of, I think we chose a really good cast. Like the team, when we looked back, like the team was just like, yo, this cast is.
Yeah.
And it also made me, I don't want to spoil anything or whatever, but like what Brianna brought to that character, I was like, I wish I did more with that character.
With that character,
Yeah, she's such a great actor and she played the role so well, and such a great person. You know what I mean? So it's just like it was sad when it was her last day on set. I was just like,
I know, right?
It's like, man, wish you were here a couple times.
And like it meshes so well on screen.
Yeah.
Right? Like this, you have those very defined characters. There's always nothing worse than watching a movie where the characters kind of mold into each other.
Yes.
Right? It's like, you can have characters that are similar and you can see the reflection in them, but they're still different.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, testament to these guys who brought so much to it, and they made my job so easy on set.
Yeah.
They made my job because it was tight.
Yeah.
It was tight. The days were tight, and some
people kept showing up.
Overnights, and people were tired. And I remember there was one time where like we actually worked them so hard because Shailene is actually from LA, and she was like, she lived here. She moved to LA.
Yep.
And so I'm like, well, we only have her for X amount of days, right?
Yeah.
So we were working them on set. Like if they were not shooting, when we were setting our cameras, they were doing photo shoots.
Yeah.
They were also doing interviews for our behind the scenes. Like they were also like it was very rare that they had a break like in it. So they were worked.
I think there was like a picture of us like
sleeping.
Just like all sleeping. We're all sleeping.
I'm cold.
And then they're like, all right, we're ready for it. And
they're all like, all right, let's get out.
Let's go.
Yeah, they were like you could see like some behind the scenes footage and like photos where they're just like passed out, but they were working really hard to get us. They brought their A game, and it was they made it happen. So.
It's so incredible to see what creatives can do with condensed timelines. It's incredible to me. It's still like there's no other, like I don't know of any other business that's like this. And then it's like here's a great big idea, but then do it in this amount of time, this amount of budget, this amount of X. And for some reason, like the creatives, they're just resourceful as fuck. And it's what it comes down to.
Right.
It's the drive too, because when Shailene called me that time to say let's make it a feature, and the way how we had already built the schedule, I was like, Shailene, if we do this, like you're not gonna get a day off. No. And she was just like,
we're here to work.
Yo, let's do it. Let's go. And on top of that, I have to give her credit too, because not a lot of people know this, but she shared it, so I can share it. But she she was 3 months postpartum.
Yeah.
No way.
So she had just popped out her baby
Yeah.
and got back to work.
Yeah.
And she was there. So we had her baby on set one day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we had her baby on set one
Amazing.
day. The family came to visit set. So that was really cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like that she was able to do that and we can make it like a family affair and
Yeah.
that like came to visit for a little bit.
Living at the house, that was a cool experience. Like if to anybody out there that's a creative that just is working and gets to collaborate with friends and like those moments, I think I'm gonna like just waking up and going to the kitchen, seeing the DP and going down to the basement, the editor is down there and just like, I think that experience is probably the most beautiful creative experience that I had so far.
Well, it's kind of like you're like similar to the story, which is kind of, I love the simile here, but it's similar to the story. You're all captured in there
Yeah.
until you've got the film made. And like, there's something that happens like when you're stuck like that. It's like you wake up and like you go down and your coffee and you're chatting. You're like, hey, this scene, like, what if we did this?
Yeah.
You guys had those
Yeah.
moments where you like
Yes.
sitting over coffee.
Yeah.
And, like it's like, yeah, let's try this.
You know, what was cool about what you're saying too is like even after we shot, like, so we would shoot and we'll go to like whatever in the morning, 7 in the morning, whatever. It's bright outside.
Yeah.
And like you would expect everyone to be like, and we were tired, but you would expect that the tiredness would just take a lot of people to bed, which it kind of did. But you got our boy Jake, who just came with his keg, like, all right, boys, want some beer.
Keep the party going.
Keep the party going. So we drink a little bit and then go to sleep and then wake up and then we're having that like, okay, we're talking about what we have planned for the day before, you know, people start coming. And it was so cool to see like, you know, the people who lived at the house do their thing, you know, their little cereal and whatever. And someone's taking a shower.
There was a moment when I was waking up and I thought you were waking up. You're like, oh no, I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed. So it was like, it was
Yeah.
one of those where it was like,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
it was a cool process, especially to see like, oh, I see the grips coming. Oh, it means that it's about time.
Yeah.
It's like eyes are bleeding. I remember there was actually one time, I was good like throughout the set. Like I was adrenaline, I guess, right? Was keeping me up. And I remember, I think it was the day that we shot our chase scene. I was talking to our set medic. We were having a conversation. We're just talking and just like this.
Yep.
And then I just remember my script supervisor, like I felt a hand on my shoulder and it was my script supervisor. I looked up and I had passed out like during lunch. So she's just she's like, we're about to roll and I need you to come downstairs right now or whatever. But I'm like, I'm like, where is everything?
I was having a great conversation.
I was just knocked out right there. Like it was wild. But that was the one time that I kind of like.
That's incredible. There's a thing that happens at the end of a race. Like if you're training up for a race, you spend all this time like getting ready for it, and then you go through the race itself, and at the end, you have like this crash that happens afterwards, like for 2 weeks afterwards, usually. Where it's like you just wake up and you're like, man, I'm missing it, right? There's like, did you guys get that from this? Because this feels like a very intense kind of shoot kind of like process. So did you leave it and go like, it feels so quiet now. I do feel the space was quiet, or is it like straight into editing and just keep pushing through?
I think for me, like I definitely missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just a euphoric experience. And you know, it's for me, you know, I'm auditioning, I'm an actor, and I've worked on some decent projects. But to do it with the people beside you, I think that experience is just like I don't know. I can't even put it into words how special that is. So I missed it for sure. I was like, damn, like when are we gonna do it again? When, God, please.
Yeah.
I remember going home. I was passed out. Like I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
I was sleeping. But I think I may have had like maybe a week of just like, I need to relax.
Yeah.
And then after that, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I want to go back to that. I was scared. I was just like, did we get everything? Is everything gonna
All the fears.
work? Like all of that. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's work to do now. Like we gotta make sure that we can land the project and make sure that like we're not letting all of these people who put their time and effort into this down, you know? So that's where I kind of went. Now that the movie's done and all that stuff, it's just like, man, I miss it. What a time.
Mhm.
And I always used to say, like, while we were prepping for the film, especially the fact that I knew the type of strain that we were putting on the crew,
Mhm.
it being a feature, us planning for a short with the days and the money that we had, and then saying, like, yeah, just kidding, with the same stuff. It was kind of like, I always told them, like, one little sliver of hope for them was that we're never gonna get this feeling again. This is our first feature.
Yeah.
We're living here. We're like, this is something that we're gonna look back on and remember. You know what I
It's
mean?
like one of those stories that just like you can't replicate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you could try,
So cool. Yeah, because
but
like
you can't do.
But if you try and
quickly.
replicate it, then it's just gonna make it
feels
not.
forced.
It feel forced. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, when it's just like this magic of like
Yeah.
creative energy just all
Mhm.
balled up.
Yeah, it was so, and now it's just like, okay, what are we on to next? We've learned so much from
Yeah.
that. We've grown, and it's just like, what are we going to be doing next? And we're just looking forward to that. But I always go back, I'm like, man, like that was a time, you know what I mean? Like that was fun.
Yeah.
Like my mom came by, like
Shout out to mom one time.
Yeah, she actually asked. She's just like, "Oh,
Food, yeah.
Emidio, what do you want to eat or whatever?" You're like,
It's
Chicken. I'm like, I like chicken.
and so she comes,
Jerk chicken.
and it was like I didn't even know. I didn't even know that she was coming. Like I got a call, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm outside." I'm like, "Okay," and she's like, "Yeah." I go outside, and mind you, she drove from like Brampton to Dundas, Ontario. And she had like trays of food that she cooked for
amazing.
the whole set.
That's amazing.
So it was pretty.
Because you had a set of, like you said, 30 people on set at one point.
Every day, yeah, it was about like 30 people every day.
That's
And
a
then,
big
like,
family to
Yeah, it
feed right
was.
there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
lot. Yeah,
That
that's
was cool.
amazing.
My pops came through with my uncles, and they helped out. It was a
It
family.
was a
affair.
Dude,
team
this is-
effort.
yeah.
Yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
came out and like really put their hands
Yeah,
into the project.
yeah.
And we asked every favor that we could. And
Oh yeah, we turned.
people
it.
just kept showing up every morning. Just,
I love that.
you know.
Even again, my mom, she came through with we had like it wasn't even like a big thing, but we had like a Porsche in the film, like a white Porsche, because it was supposed to be Eric's car.
Yes.
That's not really. It doesn't really get highlighted like that in the movie.
Yeah.
But she just drove that up. She
Just
parked it there. Parked it there.
There you
And
go,
she was
yeah.
just chilling for a little bit for however how long it's.
Yeah.
And then she drove it back home. So shout out to my on a work night.
There's actually when I was at the CFC, I think Eva might have said it. She said it takes a village to raise an artist. So
Yeah.
I love that.
yeah. It takes
Like these
everybody.
guys, like they're all nodding their heads back there because it's like they get it.
Yeah.
Like we get it. Like trying to do stuff by yourself is almost impossible in this,
Yeah.
especially to make the kind of a movie or kind of any creative endeavor.
Yeah.
What's next for you boys? What are you doing next?
Well, we just wrote a film, so we're trying to get that made.
So when I was
Is
at
that
the
we? Like you guys are both writing together?
so when
Yeah.
I was at the CFC,
Wow.
when I was at the CFC on my final year, I got the opportunity to do a showcase, which is like a 5-minute. It's supposed to be 5 minute. We ended up breaking the rules and stretched it to like 9.
I feel like there's a common trend here.
So yeah, I had the opportunity to pick a director. Obviously, I knew who I was gonna go with, and there was no question in that. And I needed to come up with a concept and write something. And Jevon obviously already having some form of experience in Humber you started writing, right? Yeah. Well, no, you started writing before, like when you were 10,
I wrote my first script at 11 years.
11, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in this for a while now. Yeah. Yeah.
So then we ended up collaborating on that. We did the short, and we really just liked what the short, where it lived. And then from there it was just, okay, how can we expand the world a little bit more? And then
Yeah. So it was, I think, his first time tapping into writing a feature, which was cool. And it was my first time writing with somebody. I don't usually write with people. I have story editors, but I don't have co-writers.
Yeah.
And that was the first time, and
Yeah.
it was such a great, like we already had that relationship through that director actor
Yeah.
relationship. So now to do it on a writing tip, which was really cool, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
to kind of bring some of what I know, structure, story, and things and whatever to be, but also with just the pure, innocent heart of
Yeah, yeah.
what you want it to be. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then
Love
kind of
that.
like blend it all together
Yeah.
and just build something that's unique. And what I think works so well is the fact that like, though I could present as flashy of whatever for movie wise, it's just like heart is always so important to me, and that's what he likes. That's what it comes. That's what he brings. That's what he comes with. So that, and because I have that as well, it makes something I think very unique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Does he like to share when he's doing the script? Is he a good sharer?
Does he like to share?
Is he a good sharer? Because I know,
Um,
like, when you're writing scripts, it's like
yeah.
you get very kind of like, this is my script. I want this to be.
Right. Well, I mean, when he writes his script, no one's seeing
anything.
no one's seeing any. Not even me. People
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, do you know?" I'm like, "I don't know. He hasn't called me."
Yeah.
And then when everybody gets it, when the team gets it, and then he'll send it to me.
Yeah.
I know that I'm gonna be one of the first people to read
Love
it.
that. That's
And
good.
yeah, but obviously this one when we're co-writing, we're in it together, and we're
Yeah.
just try to find it. And
Yeah.
Love that.
that's been a beautiful experience too. Just
Yeah.
to,
It could be like 4 hours of us just talking about this one particular
a comma.
line or a comma. Yeah, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just
The
like, because it
creative
means so
battles.
much. It's just you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you put a lot, like writing's hard.
Writing's
Yeah.
really hard.
Writing's
Yeah.
hard. It's not easy.
Really,
It's very, like I could direct like I breathe. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's very like, I get excited to go on set and just you
Mm-hmm.
know direct you. It's like I know the feeling. I know
Yes.
what I'm trying to portray, and I'm excited to see what you're gonna bring, and then I
Yeah.
craft it right. But and then producing, when I produce, I can produce I'm just naturally a producer. I can just naturally produce anything. Writing is like, that is something that you really have to pay attention to. You can't just throw shit on a piece of paper, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. I'm struggling with that right now because I have these concepts in my mind,
Mm.
but I am not a writer. It's like, I'm not a script writer. I'm not a writer. But I, in the same hand, could sit there and go, I know how this is supposed to play out. I
Right.
know how I want them to interact. I know how all of those things, right?
Right.
But the words,
Yeah.
not so much. So like, yeah,
tough.
kudos to you, man.
Do you usually work with a writer? So you take
I am just getting started. So like
Okay.
literally I have like, we talked about it because I do a lot of documentaries. So mine's always
Nice.
been kind of, this is the story. I just want to craft it a little bit and make it so it's a good story. And then that's what we're going to push out. But I've had this yearning to do kind of fiction and actually go out there and create
Mhm.
something that's fresh and new. And it's just hard, man, to share it and to get it going.
Writing for emotional impact. Get that book. Read
Yeah.
it.
Writing for emotional impact.
Yeah.
All right, I'll grab
Yeah,
that.
that book has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
documentaries, like that's a ball game too.
I
Like,
love it, man. It's
yeah.
great. Yeah. Because the story is the story.
Of course, yeah.
Then you got to
yeah.
make it into something that's like, that makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
Because stories are messy, man. They're real
Okay.
messy. Yeah.
What documentaries do you have out there?
I'm working. So I actually did a documentary about hunting, but not with any hunting in it, which was really
Okay,
interesting.
interesting.
cool.
okay.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
it's about kind of the lives that hunting camp affects and, the people around it.
Oh,
Nice.
That's
nice.
called My Uncle's Gun. And then on the, The Weight of Time. My
Mhm.
bad. So that's the working title.
Nice.
And then the new one that we're going to be releasing is called Lumberjack. And
Nice.
it's basically about a cancer survivor who she was a teacher before, but now she works with lumber and she takes reclaimed lumber and then makes it into beautiful art pieces.
So
Yeah.
beautiful.
So it's a
And
really
where can
interesting story.
we find it? Is it
That one hopefully will be released. We have one more day to shoot on that. So
Okay,
yeah.
dope.
Okay.
Nice,
Yeah, and then
man.
that one will hopefully be released this year.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Well,
Yeah.
congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
tough trying to
It is.
create, like doing a film, like making any film
Yeah.
is hard. So if you can get it done, kudos to
Yeah.
everybody.
That's like
It's-
when you were
it's
saying
tough.
you're going from like short to like feature. I was like, are you crazy?
You just take it. Yeah, you approach it as as a short.
Yeah.
You just go scene by scene.
Well, that's what I always say. Like when they talk about actors, like how do you memorize all these lines? I'm like, I can't do 2 scenes at the same time, right? So I just got to take one scene at a time, and
Just do it.
and then when you look up, it's like, oh, okay, I guess we did all the scenes. I guess, all right, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like when you're to that process, it's like, oh, we're doing this movie. And it's just like I'm with my script supervisor and she's just like, okay, yeah, like we did this scene, this. She's like, yeah, I think you're like, it's looking like we have a feature here.
That's good.
Wow, like okay. Like,
Yeah.
but it's just like we're locking it down. And it was one of those things where it's just like we had this one lingering scene that we were supposed to shoot on the first day that we never got a chance to shoot.
Yeah.
And it was just like we have to place it somewhere, but the schedule is gonna be the schedule, right? And then once we finally did that scene, and we wrapped, it was just like,
Yeah. I love that.
it's like, yes, we
I think
did
you
it.
went on your knees, right?
I
You're
did.
like,
I was like,
It's finally done.
I was like,
Oh, we made
and then
it.
we all put our hands in,
yeah.
and just because it was one of those things. It's like, damn,
There's
you
a
know?
moment.
Like,
Yeah.
it was a real moment.
Yeah.
And then it was crazy because we had to get out of that house like ASAP. We didn't even have time. Like it was like we finished at like, I don't know, call it 8:00, and we had to be out the house by like 11.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
So you're like having the tender moment in the 80s, like, all right, guys, let's go.
Yeah, let's
bring
get
it
out of
on,
here.
wrap it.
Yeah.
And it was backing up, and I was just like,
Amazing.
but it was such a beautiful time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again.
Love it.
So excited.
So if my audience wants to find you guys, how are they going to find you guys online? Like, what's the best way of finding it?
You can find me on Instagram. It's e.midio. Emidio, it's my name. Pretty
And
simple.
I'm at Director Jevy, Jevy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so
Thank you for
dope,
having
man.
Yeah.
And congrats on everything in
Thank
your
you.
journey. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to check the
To 1,000.
Yeah.
2,000, yeah.
To 1,000.
Yeah. Only 970 to go.
That's it. That's
It's
it.
gonna happen.
It's going to happen. Yeah.
One scene
Yeah.
at a time. One
Right,
podcast
one
at a
scene at a
time.
time,
Yeah.
Put before the other, right?
All
Yeah.
right, brother.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks
you
a lot.
guys.
Thanks for
Thank-
having
yeah.
us, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cheers.
And it's just like
that.